excited. You guys know that I love testing out foundations. Out of everything that I review and play with, foundation is definitely my favorite. I'm almost 40 and I really have to be careful with the foundations that I use. I don't have that 20-year-old skin where I could pretty much wear whatever foundation I had at the time. Now I have to really be careful and kind of pick and choose. I'm definitely on the hunt to try to find those really good foundations out there. Today I'm talking about the Laura Geller Filter First Foundation. I have not really heard a lot about this, but a couple of months ago, many of you guys requested this foundation and it's just been sitting here waiting for me to review. I think I bought this, I would say probably in August sometime. When I bought it, it came with this brush for free. So this is a foundation brush. It came in this box. This is called the Angled Liquid Foundation Brush. So this foundation retails for $38. You do get 1 fluid ounce, 30 mils. I chose the shade Golden Medium. Golden Medium matches me perfectly as long as I am up on my tan. Like if my tan's starting to wear off, this is a little bit too dark. So I do fake bake once a week. And so as long as it's not towards the end of the week, I can wear this. So let me give you guys a little bit of information about the foundation. So it says it's a medium full coverage foundation with a soft luminous finish. Each weightless fluid drop is formulated with finely crushed pearls that act like your favorite filter to diffuse light, blurring imperfections so your skin looks flawless. Basically, it's a medium to full coverage. It's antioxidant rich ingredients. If you are somebody that has oily skin, I don't know that this would be a foundation you'd want to try because it is luminous. And I don't know that you would like this as much, but for those of you guys that are dry, normal, and even maybe combination, you know, if you set it in the T-zone and stuff, you might be able to make this work. But I think for oily skin, I don't know that I would even mess with this. I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys how I applied it. Now, I've been wearing this foundation, I wouldn't say like 4 or 5 days in a row. Like I started to wear this foundation at the beginning of last week, and then the holidays came and I didn't wear it during the holidays just because you always want your fake makeup to like be the best that it can be type thing on holidays. So I stopped wearing it and then I picked it back up and I've been wearing it for the last couple days. So I would say I've probably worn it maybe 5 days total. So I do know exactly how I feel about it. Even though today I'm kind of doing it all in one just because I thought I had filmed me applying it and I didn't for my first impressions. It's kind of a shit show, you guys. But I do know how I feel about this foundation. I have a lot to say about this foundation based on wearing it for those days. I've had days where it didn't work and I've had days that it did work. We're going to move into the tutorial and I'm going to show you guys how I applied it. And then I'm going to give you guys a midday check-in. And then later on this evening, I'm going to come back and give you guys my full final thoughts on the foundation and kind of my recommendations based on how it wore and if I like it or not. Thank you to all of you guys out there that request foundations for me to test. It really helps me. So if you guys have any suggestions on any foundations that you guys want me to test, leave it down in the comments down below so that I can go through those comments and pick out the foundations that you guys want me to test. If you see a comment of a foundation that you would like me to test, just like that comment. That would really be helpful. I'm always looking for great suggestions. I love your guys' leadership. You guys kind of lead me in the directions that I need to go to create content for you guys. So if you guys have any suggestions, put them down in the comments because I'm very happy that you guys suggested this to me because truthfully, before you guys suggested it to me in August, I hadn't really heard a lot about it. And I've not watched any reviews on this foundation, so I don't know how anybody feels about it. And there's really not been a lot of hype about this foundation. So it kind of definitely had me curious. You guys always pick really good foundations for me to test out. So without further ado, let's jump right into the tutorial. I'm going to show you guys how I apply it. I will come back for my midday check-in and my final thoughts later on this evening. So I will see you guys then. Okay, let's get into this foundation review. Now, here's my thing. I have been testing this for a couple of days now. This is not the first time that I've used this. I've had some good days with this foundation and I've had some bad days with this foundation. It's just a nice frosted glass bottle with a black cap and it does have a pump, which is nice. So I'm just put 2 pumps down into my tray. Now when I ordered this, they sent me a free brush. This brush is a nice angled flat brush. On this side of the face, I'm going to apply my beauty blender, and then on this side of the face, I'm going to use the brush. So let's go ahead and apply the brush. Now I have it in the shade Golden Medium, and I just kind of start like stippling this into the skin. And this is kind of a foundation that really is lightweight. Like, it doesn't feel wet on the skin. So when you're applying it, you don't really feel like you have any foundation on the skin, if that makes sense. So it's almost like, wait, did I put it there? Because I can't really feel it. You know, when you're first applying foundation, like, you can feel it. I will say right off the bat, I don't prefer applying this foundation with this brush. First of all, the brush is too small and it's just a little bit like too stiff in a sense for me, but that's personal preference. And what I like to do is kind of go over that with a sponge and just make sure that I don't have any extra product sitting on the face. Normally when I apply a foundation, I like to apply with a brush and then smooth it out with a sponge. But I will say with this foundation, I prefer applying it with a sponge. I don't really like applying this with a brush. It's a thin consistency, and when you apply it, you almost really need to kind of feel the sponge applying it. I don't know how to explain it, you guys, but it's a really thin feeling and you can't really feel it on the skin. This is such a lightweight formula that you can't really see it on the skin. It's kind of interesting the way that it applies. It kind of has the similar texture as the Becca Aqua Luminous foundation, and it's somewhat like the Nude Illusion from Wonder Beauty. It's just such a lightweight formula that you really don't know where you're applying it. Like, you really gotta kind of really feel your way through it. And it looks skin-like right now. Like, that's the one thing that I absolutely love about this foundation so far. So I went ahead and pulled you guys closer. I just wanted you guys to see how this looks on the skin right now. But as you can tell, like, it doesn't really look like you have foundation on the skin. Forehead looks really nice. And then kind of around this area, it looks really good. My husband and I are going to a concert tonight. I'm going to be wearing this foundation for many, 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 many hours tonight. By the time I come home and do my final check-in after the concert, it's going to be several hours, I would say, because right now it's 9:42. Probably won't get home from the concert until like 11 o'clock tonight. I don't know that I've worn it for that many hours. I think the longest that I've worn this foundation is maybe 10 hours. I'm excited to really wear it and give it the longest wear test that I can. I will be back in a little bit to give you guys a midday check-in and then later on this evening for my final thoughts. So I will see you guys in a little bit. Okay, you guys, I am back. Now, I had an issue. Long story short, since you guys seen me earlier this morning, I have had to wash my face and start over. I was reviewing the Alien palette. You guys will hear all about it in tomorrow's video, but it was kind of a mess. When you guys see me apply my foundation, that was this morning right around, what was it, like 9:30 or something like that? I actually ended up having to wash my entire face off and basically start over, and that was around noontime. Right now it is 4:45, so I've had it on for about 4 hours and 45 minutes, so let's just say 5 hours. And I'm just gonna jump on here and give you guys my quick opinion 5 hours in, and then later on this evening I will come back with my final thoughts. But I am kind of sad that I can't wear it for like 14 hours, but I'm gonna wear it for as long as I can because who knows, I might be home at midnight. Okay, so I went ahead and pulled you guys closer so you guys could see what this is looking like. Now, this is a very medium coverage foundation, and as you wear it, it starts to kind of wear off. But so far, I would say it wears off pretty naturally. So as you can see, I still need more coverage right around here. My forehead looks pretty good, but this foundation, it does kind of move around, and even though when you first apply it, it feels like it wants to just stay put, and it feels like it's almost skin-like, you almost lose that as you wear it because it becomes more and more dewy, more and more luminous as the day goes on. But it definitely doesn't look the best over texture. I mean, you can see these are spots that I've been picking, trying to get like those blackheads and stuff to be gone. It's just not covering it the way I would want it to cover it. What I do like about this foundation is it is very skin-like. So, you know, as you wear it throughout the day, it does look like skin, and it does have a very natural, like skin-like finish. However, it doesn't have a lot of coverage, and it definitely loses the coverage as you wear it. So that is my midday check-in. There's been 2 days out of the days that I've worn this that it did not work, and it was a hot mess. So in my final thoughts, I'm going to give you guys the full rundown, exactly what this foundation did, how I've been able to make it work, and yeah, I'm going to give you guys all that information, but I'm not going into a lot of detail because I already know how I feel about the foundation and I don't really want to give it away until the end. You know what I'm saying? So right now, this is just my midday check-in. I just wanted you guys to see what this looks like about 4.5, 5 hours in. But later on, I'm going to give you guys the full rundown. I'm going to go ahead and get off of here and go head to the concert with my husband, and I will see you guys later on this evening. Okay, so I am back for my final check-in on this foundation. It is 12:20. We're much later than we expected to be because we just had to drive home in a nasty snowstorm. And then I was out shoveling the snow waiting for my son to drive home in the nasty snowstorm because I can't, like, I had to get my mind off of it because the thought of your kids driving in the snow, it was probably like this much deep. Anyway, it's not fun. So I had to like go out there and shovel snow and try to get it off my mind. So I'm going to go ahead and give you guys my final thoughts on this foundation. I've probably worn this for now 12.5 hours. So I actually wore it a little bit longer than I thought I would. During my midday check-in, I kind of told you guys the situation with having to wipe my entire makeup off. So with that said, I've now had the foundation on for about 12.5 hours. So I'm going to pull you guys closer so you guys can see what this looks like, and then we will get into all of the details about the foundation. So as you guys can see, I've completely lost all of the coverage. So there is no coverage here. There's no coverage here. And I will say, right before I left for the concert, I took a little bit of the foundation, dotted it on the brush, put it on and built it up, and then smoothed it out with a sponge just to give me a little bit extra coverage here, and it's still gone. So that is probably my least favorite thing about this foundation, is that it just doesn't last. As you can see, like, it's pretty well gone, and I would say right around the 6 to 7 an hour mark, it just starts going downhill. It's all wore off here, all around here. My forehead isn't bad, but I've definitely lost a lot of the coverage. So yeah, that's my least favorite thing about the foundation. This foundation is perfect for that person that needs light coverage, who doesn't like a matte foundation. If you are somebody who is dry or normal and you don't need a lot of coverage and you kind of just want something that's very lightweight, very skin-like, and wears off pretty naturally, this is like the perfect foundation. If you are someone who needs coverage to last throughout the day and you don't want your foundation moving around, this is not it. Because as you've seen when I applied it, it looked gorgeous and it looked like skin. You couldn't even tell it was sitting there. It is such a lightweight formula where it literally blends into the skin. I was trying to explain this in my midday check-in. It's so lightweight that you can't feel it on the skin. And you know, typically when you put your foundation on, you can kind of feel that wetness. This feels dry going on. It's a very dry foundation. So that's kind of where the weightless comes in, where it doesn't make you feel like you have foundation on. Similar to the Wander Beauty, the Nude Illusion. This one right here, this one feels the exact same way when you put it on. You can't really feel it going onto the skin. This one I actually really love, and it's pretty decent coverage that lasts all day. Similar to this one from Becca, the Becca Aqua Luminous. These two I definitely like way more than I do this one. And the reason why is because I can get the coverage to last with this one for much longer. Now, I will say the Becca has less coverage than the Nude Illusion. I think the Nude Illusion has the most coverage out of these three foundations. This one I would say has a really good medium coverage. This one I would say is a light medium coverage. Even though it says medium to full coverage, I don't feel like I've ever been able to build this to full coverage, and I've tried. I've really tried to build it and pack it on around these areas. I could never get it to build and give me that coverage. So, you know, sometimes when you have a weightless foundation, that is nice because you can build it and pack it on if you need to and not have it look cakey. But this one, you can just keep kind of going in and going in and going in, and no matter how much you do, it will still wear off by the end of the night. which is kind of a bummer. So if you're someone that needs your foundation to last you several hours, this is a definite no-go. If you are somebody who has combo or oily skin, now if you're combo and you set your T-zone, you might be able to get away with this foundation, but I don't even know that I would even bother with it, because I feel like there's so many other foundations on the market that could give you that luminous, weightless type finish, and it would last you a lot longer. So I'm not a really big fan of this foundation, and the only time I've ever been able to make this work is mixing it with another foundation. If you guys watched last week's Foundation Friday video, I went through and gave you all of my top favorite foundations in every category, whether it was matte, natural finish, radiant finish, dewy finish. I gave you all of my favorite foundations within those finishes. Well, one thing that I said is I don't like the Hourglass Vanish Stick by itself, but I love this to mix with other foundations. I would say the third or fourth day I wore it, I went ahead and applied it all over the face, and then I took this and kind of filled it in spots where I wanted that extra coverage, and that was probably my favorite day. I got the coverage that I needed, and it was way more dependable and lasted several more hours. So these two together, I really, really liked that combination. And that was the only time that I actually really liked it. So when I first applied this morning, I did not use my Bobbi Brown Vitamin Enriched Face Base. You guys know that is my favorite primer of all time. I cannot wear that primer with this foundation. I wear this with every foundation I own, and I love it, and I've not stopped wearing it since the day I bought it, like in the springtime sometime. This foundation, when I wore this with that, it moved so much that I couldn't even go like this and scratch my face without causing the foundation to completely lift off my face. So this foundation I was not able to wear a primer with. So all I have underneath this is my moisturizer that has SPF in it. That's it, because if I wear a primer with this, it slips and slides all over the place. I didn't mention that earlier because I wanted to kind of give you guys the full rundown at the end of the video. I did not put any spray on my face. That's another thing. If I set it with anything, whether it's MAC Fix Plus or it's my LC Hydra sprayer, there's no way you'd want anything dewy to spray this with. It doesn't work. On a scale from 1 to 5, I would give this foundation like a 2. And I think the only reason why I would give it a 2 is because I love the way it looks for about 4 or 5 hours. And then it just starts to look really nasty. So, you know, like I said, if you are someone that only wears foundation for 4 or 5 hours, you would love it. But for me, I need my foundation to last at least 8 to 10. I understand that foundations are going to start looking kind of nasty by 10 to 12, but I really need it to last that 8 to 10 hour mark. And if it doesn't do that, I can't wear it. I am normal skin. For those of you guys that don't know, I have normal dry skin during the winter. Right now I'm starting to get a little bit more dry, especially because I'm on a retinol cream. So I'm dry, normal, and I don't wear a lot of matte foundations because matte really like ages me. It points out every wrinkle in my face. Like if I put matte foundation on, you can see every wrinkle. It's like playing connect the dots. It's pretty nasty. So I try to stay away from matte foundations, but I do have a few like natural matte, like satin demi matte foundations that I absolutely love. This is just kind of a no-go, and you know, I am glad that I wore it for several days because I really got a good idea about how I felt about the foundation, and I could definitely let you guys know how I feel about it. If you guys have this foundation and you've been able to make it work, let us know in the comments down below what skin type you are and what you love about the foundation. I'm always curious to know. So that is it for this Foundation Friday. Don't forget to come right back here tomorrow. I am going to be uploading my full review of the Jeffree Star Alien Palette, which fingers crossed that I can get that video done because it was a total nightmare today. So round 2 is tomorrow. I'm going to try it one more time. Wait till you guys see the footage. It's crazy. You guys have got to come back tomorrow and see the footage. It's wild. I've never, ever in all the years that I've been playing with shadow and reviewing shadow, I've never had this happen. It was a total shit show. So come right back here tomorrow at 11 a.m. Mountain Standard Time so you guys can see what I'm talking about and what all the hype is. It's kind of crazy. Also, Saturday is December 1st, which is the first day of me uploading every single day, which is kind of fun. I'm very excited about it. So be on the look for a video on Sunday and Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday and Friday and Saturday. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with me today. I hope you guys enjoyed this Foundation Friday video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Thank you guys again for all the love that you guys show me and my channel. It truly means a lot to me, and I hope you guys have a fantastic weekend filled with love, happiness, and joy. I love you guys so much. Bye!